resulted in embarrassment for U.S. forces. A key focus for American leaders was Canada, then a British territory. They believed that invading and capturing Canada, with its critical resources and strategic importance, would deal a blow to Britain's efforts in the war. However, the poorly managed U.S. invasions of Canada ended in failure. Battles such as the one at Queenston Heights not only resulted in defeat, but also showcased the strength of British and Canadian forces. Meanwhile, on the high seas, Britain's naval superiority quickly became clear. The Royal Navy imposed a blockade, stifling American trade and damaging its economy. American ships were unable to keep up with Britain's overwhelming fleet, leaving much of the coast vulnerable to attacks. Despite these setbacks, not all was lost. Early in the war, the U.S. achieved symbolic victories, particularly with its new naval vessels, such as the USS Constitution. The Constitution defeated British warships in dramatic fashion, earning the nickname Old Ironsides and boosting American morale. One of the most notable periods of the War of 1812 began in 1814. By this time, major developments in Europe were spilling over into the North American conflict. The year saw both triumph and tragedy. The most infamous event occurred in August 1814, when British troops marched into Washington, D.C. In retaliation for earlier American attacks in Canada, the British burned key government buildings, including the White House and the Capitol. President James Madison and his wife, Dolly Madison, fled the city, with Dolly famously saving a portrait of George Washington before leaving the White House. However, the war took a dramatic turn shortly after at the Battle of Baltimore in September 1814. American forces stationed at Fort McHenry successfully defended the city against a fierce British attack. The dramatic scenes of bombs bursting in the air inspired Francis Scott Key to write the poem that would later become the Star, Spangled Banner. This unrelenting spirit boosted American morale, showing that the nation could stand firm amidst adversity. The defense of Fort McHenry marked a key psychological turning point in a war fraught with challenges. Though peace negotiations had begun late in 1814, war remained active into early 1815. One of the most famous battles of the War of 1812, the Battle of New Orleans, took place after the Treaty of Ghent was signed. Led by General Andrew Jackson, American forces delivered a resounding victory against the British in January 1815, routing an experienced British army in New Orleans. Despite the war technically being over by this point, news of the treaty had not yet reached the region. Jackson's strategic leadership electrified the nation.